from all around Geelong. I'm here to tell you how football is strong.
Good morning and welcome again to the GDFL Footy Show, coming to you out of Geelong on another beautiful Saturday morning. And yes, it's finals time. It's finally come around and the action starts this afternoon for the seniors down at the St Albans Reserve, and another big game on tomorrow, the elimination final. So we're all pretty excited about that. It all comes down to 5 sides now, and by the end of the weekend there'll be a side missing. So it really is fantastic time of the year in footy without any doubt about that. Last week we saw the last of the home away games with Tommy Tighes much too good for the Inverleigh Hawks, with Lucas Forbes kicking 10 goals and taking his tally to the year to 114, having a great year indeed. I don't know how we'll go with the Whitley medal. We'll talk about that in a little short time. The Belpost Hill Panthers, much too good for Geelong West, belted them. Belmont Lions had a big win out at Footrot Flats, and they're pretty happy about that. The Anarchy Roos finishing the season off a little bit badly, a lot from continually what they started with. Werribee Centrals, much too good for Winchelsea, with my love child Rosenweek kicking 6 goals. He's back, look out, there he comes in the finals, he's an absolute gun. East Geelong Eagles, well, they had to have a big win over Corio, and they made sure they did that. Absolutely too good, with Josh Berman kicking 8 goals, Lucas Murphy 5, a fantastic effort indeed there by the Eagles. And the 94.7 match of the day was the Bannockburn Tigers out at the Keith Barclay Oval, too good for the North Geelong Magpies. With North Geelong Magpies, well, they started the game off okay, had an horrendous third quarter and tried to come back in the last quarter, but fell 6 points short. Hello, I'm Dick Philpott, and once again I have assembled some of the biggest names and brains in country football: eradicate, adjudicate, communicate, but definitely not procrastinate. And the number one commentator in local football there, any doubt, is my good friend Eric Nicholls. Good morning.
Morning, Dick. Fantastic finals. It's a great time.
You've got a spring in your step, Eric, haven't you, and a certain glow about it.
Really, finals in the interleague. I enjoy both of those, Dick, and look forward to this weekend.
Absolutely, mate. And of course, the man who needs no introduction as well, he's finally back on the show. He disappeared the last couple of weeks, which is pretty easy. He normally just disappears into shagpole carpet. We'll get him out of the vacuum cleaner later on. He is the smallest man in country football, Grubby Cations. G'day, mate.
Good morning, Dick, and it's lovely to be back.
It's great to see you, mate, but I had a couple of gags there and I forgot what they were there.
Well, I tell you what, whoever's watching it will be very, very happy about that.
I'll think about it later on, don't worry about that.
I'll tell you now.
Yeah, don't worry about that. Well, as I said, last weekend was a fantastic round of footy with the last home and away game. And coming up now on Monday night is the coveted Neville Whitley medal. We're looking forward to that indeed out at Buckley's Entertainment Centre in Breakwater. It's the echelon night of the league and a big night, and of course tinged by sadness that Margaret Webb won't be in attendance. We gave her a great send-off last Monday at her funeral. Everybody in Geelong was there, I can tell you folks, and Margaret will be missed terribly. But the night will go on Monday night, and I'm going to put the acid test right on these guys and find out who they reckon is going to take, well, as Cogsy said before the show, who's going to take Neville home. What do you reckon? Apart from Linda, how do you reckon?
Well,
Eric?
I'll preface my remarks by saying, Dick, I reckon I call the games as I see them. I haven't been able to really interpret a lot of umpiring decisions this year, and maybe my thoughts on the best players might differ from the umpires.
Yep.
But I've narrowed it down, I think, to 5 or 6. Forbes and McLeod,
yep,
both from Thompson.
Will they take votes away from each other, though, Eric?
I reckon they'll get 3 and 2 in the same game.
Yep.
I think they'll both get votes. Page from Belpost Hill, Jones from Werribee Centrals, Fitzsimmons from North Geelong, and everybody last Saturday from Bannockburn have been talking up young Bromans.
Okay.
They reckon he'll win their best and fairest. He could be an outsider for the Whitley medal.
Oh, gee, so you've got a few options there, Eric. So I know you're going to do that, but it's funny you can mention 10 players and come back next week and say, told you so. No, I reckon I agree with a couple of those for sure. What do you reckon, Grub? You see, like Eric, you see a lot of the footy this year going around the different grounds. My opinion's probably a bit biased because I only see one side play every week, but do you think that being a century goal kicker, Lucas Forbes is going to have a chance?
Well, it happened last year. Lucas Murphy won it, doing pretty much the same. Yep. So obviously full forwards can get votes if they kick enough goals. But sometimes it's the blokes who are getting it to them, and I think Brent McLeod will win it. And I think he'll win it well.
Okay.
For the games I've seen, he's by far the best player I've seen for the year, whether he wins it or not, to be quite honest. But I think he'll win it. But I think Forbes can get second. There's enough votes to go around for him to get second. And I'm going to go for Fitzsimmons from North Geelong to finish third. Yep. I think the times I've seen him, he's been fantastic. I might throw in me Smokey with Phil Jones from Werribee. We've got to put a Werribee bloke in, as you know. And a special mention to Corey Collins. He missed a month of football with a shutdown. Without that, he'd be right in the mix too. Mm-hmm. But one question I would have for Eric. Eric, are you going Monday night?
Don't you have to get invited?
You're supposed to be invited. You better check your letterbox, mate.
It's in the mail, Eric. But on good authority, it is in the mail, mate.
Isn't that post office terrible?
You can cut along as Rosemary if you like, but
Look, there is a fair few Belpost Hill players that are obviously as good as going around, but that's when you get the votes taken off you, when there's about 8 of them taking them off each other.
yeah, I do worry about the Forbes McLeod thing that sometimes when you've got 2 gun players, and you've seen it at Hawthorn a couple of times with 2 gun forwards, you know, whether the votes get taken off them or not. But gee, Lucas Forbes has done everything right this year. I guess if it comes down to a couple of votes with a couple of rounds to go, he's going to be a real show because he's kicked 33 goals in the last 3 games, and that's got to get some interest from the umpire for sure.
Well, it does, but I tell you what, the game we saw out at Bannockburn, I reckon Brent McLeod had nearly 40 possessions, but he played a lot up the ground towards the end of the year, so it wasn't so much they were both forwards. Brent McLeod played on the ball and got a lot of it.
When you get a side that were unbeaten until a few weeks ago, Dick, they're going to get 3 votes and 2 votes in most games, I would imagine. That's the way I think sides that win well, they usually get the first couple of votes, and I think they'll both poll very well.
Yeah, I've obviously only seen North Geelong play all year, and every time I see them play, Derek Fitzsimmons just gets getting possessions after possessions, and he's really a ball magnet, and I think Derek will go pretty well. He played pretty well on Saturday. I wouldn't have given him one of the best on the ground, but he was, well, I might have got him in the first 4, whether he gets any votes on Saturday or not, but he's been a backstop to North Geelong all year, Eric. And speaking of that game, mate, the Magpies they probably fell apart in that 3rd quarter, but they won most of the other quarters, didn't they?
Yeah, they were very, very competitive, and I don't know whether they lapsed in the 3rd quarter or whether Bannockburn played very well. Bannockburn over the last 6 or 7 weeks have been sensational, and they probably deserved to win Saturday, even with North Geelong's lapse in the 3rd quarter.
Well, the Whitley medal is coming up on Monday night. Eric may get his invitation tomorrow. We're not too sure about that, but we'll certainly have a crack at the GDFL if he doesn't get one, that's for sure. It'll be a great night. It always is a great night. There's been some fantastic winners over the years, and of course I think of Daryl Jones, and I think of Ricky O'Toole, of course, who the old bloke's still running around getting plenty of kicks. He might have get a few votes as well. And of course last year's winner Lucas Murphy has done everything right. He's an absolute gun of a footballer. So it could really come down to anybody, and we just hope that it's nice and close, and certainly will be. It's a great coveted award to win is the Neville Whitley medal. It'll be fantastic indeed. We're going to pay some bills now, take a break, come back, have Mitch Cleary's big segment about the Colts footy, which has got a big finals action on this weekend. A very special guest coming on. I tell you what, this man is the best looking bloke in country football. He takes my mantle for 1 week only. We got him on the show very shortly, back after this.
We are the Raiders from all around Geelong. I'm here to tell you how football is strong.
Welcome back, and of course it's time for everything this Colts footy. It's finals time as well with the Colts, and here's Mitch Cleary.
Thanks, Dick. Well, the first week of finals in the Colts is finally upon us. It's felt like it's been a while, but it's finally here. We're going to take a reverse look at the action this morning, starting with Division 4, and East Geelong take on Anarchy this morning at 10 a.m. at St Albans before a big GDFL clash later this afternoon. The loser of this is out. The winner of this plays the loser of Port Arlington and Grovedale Tigers 2, who play at Port Arlington at 8 a.m. The winner of this goes straight into the grand final. Moving across to Division 3, and My St Mary's second side take on North Geelong tomorrow at 10 a.m. at St Albans Reserve, again before another massive GDFL clash. In the other game this morning at 8 a.m. also at St Albans, so expect Division 3 teams to be getting out there and having a look at these games. Belmont Lions play Mottawarri. Belmont Lions coming off a massive win over St Mary's. The loser of this game is also out, while the winner of St Mary's, North Geelong, takes on Inverleigh next week. Moving on to Division 2, this morning, and Bell Park take on Geelong West St Peters in the first qualifying finals at Port Arlington at 9:50 a.m. Those games are in line with the BFL finals. In the other game we have a look at this morning, it's Leopold versus Geelong Amateur, actually tomorrow morning in the elimination final at 9:45 at Port Arlington. Amateurs are expected to have at least half a dozen of their college APS players back for this game. Moving across to the all-important Division 1 in the final round of home and away season. Their finals kicks off next weekend, and we'll take a look at Torquay versus Colac. Torquay needing to win this to hold on to third spot. In the other games, Newtown and Shuel play South Barwon. The Eagles will be looking to end South Barwon's season, while if South Barwon win, They will take the loser of St Joseph's and Drysdale's 5th spot, while the winner of St Joseph's and Drysdale could also move into 3rd spot. So that's a massive game out there at Drew Reserve. My St Mary's look to hold on to 1st spot. A win this morning for us will all but assure us of that top spot and the week off, playing Grovedale at Grovedale. And the final round of Division 1 this morning sees Lara play Ocean Grove in a match for nothing but credibility. That's all from me, Dick. I'll see you next week, and be sure to keep in touch for all the action from the Colts' best and fairest results.
Thanks a lot, Mitch. And of course, Mitch Cleary will be back again next Saturday morning, talking everything that's Colts footy with a roundup of all the finals action on in the next 2 days at the St Albans Reserve and all over Geelong, as a matter of fact. Well, we've got a very special guest on the show this morning, and of course, everyone in local footy knows him as Scruncher. He is one of the icons of the East Geelong Eagles Footy Club, and a very good mate of mine as well. Good morning, Keith Scruncher Jameson. How are you, mate?
Very well, thanks, Dick, and thanks for having me.
That's a pleasure, mate. We couldn't find anybody else, so we thought we'd give you a ring and get you on the show. No, I'm only joking. I'd have a crack at you, mate. It's good to have you on the show. And look, mate, I've known you for a long time. I can remember actually the very first time I met you. We're up, I think it was the vote count. It wasn't called the Never Whitley Medal back then, but we shared a cab by memory with Eddie Dare and finished up in the Geelong Hotel very, very late at night. Can you remember that?
Yes, it was up at Valpo still, and Rick Stokes was with us as well. We were in 3rd.
Unbelievable. Geez, we must have been a bit silly that night, were we?
Well, I seen the sun come up, so I don't know what you seen.
Mate, you've had a fantastic association with the East Geelong Footy Club. I know how passionate you are about it. How long have you been involved with them, and when did you get involved? Or when did you get involved, and what capacity? Did you play a bit of footy out there at all?
Yeah, I played a grand total of 13 games.
Yep.
Started there in 1972, and I've virtually done everything from a president, and at the moment I'm the team manager for the 1s and the 2s.
And I know your wife Sharon's been involved heavily out of the club as well. She's done a few things around the club, built the canteen, I guess, and done all those sort of things. And I know for a fact that your in-laws as well, it's in the blood somewhere, because your wife Sharon's parents are the Ruston family, and they've been tremendous icons and supporters of the North Geelong Footy Club as well. So it's been a big family thing, hasn't it, to get involved with local footy?
Oh, look, it's the best thing anybody can do if they want to. Like, I said, I've been there since 72.
Yep.
My wife's been there, Sharon, since we met in 1986.
Is that where you met her?
Met her at the footy club, yes.
What, she sold you pie or something, or what happened there? What was going on?
No, she used to duck.
Sorry?
Used to duck around everywhere I wasn't.
I can imagine.
Didn't want to meet me.
Didn't want to know you.
No, didn't want to know me at all.
Unbelievable.
But the good looks took over, and that was
There's no doubt about that, mate. Rosemary says the same thing, mate. She said if I was fat, bald and ugly, she'd have nothing to do with me. So I can imagine exactly how Sharon felt, mate.
All right, cut the rubbish.
Yeah, all right, fair
cut the rubbish. This is a footy show, mate. You and me this week, Werribee Centrals, East Geelong. You've got the wood over Werribee Centrals. You absolutely towed them up down at Werribee, and you beat them reasonably well at East. Can you see that continuing, or can you see Werribee knocking you off?
Look, Werribee's always hard come finals time. Home and away, you can win one, lose one, doesn't matter. Come finals, Werribee's one of the best final sides going around. They've proved it over the years. But we've been going pretty well ourselves, and it's going to be close, but it's not daunting to us.
That's fair enough. Now, I've got one more question for you. What comes to mind when I do this? Da 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 da. Come on, you're a bad Carlton.
All right, there's 3 loves in my life: East Geelong, Carlton, then the wife.
Oh, jeez.
I knew I'd get him in trouble.
I'm glad you snuck Sharon in there somewhere, mate, with the trifecta.
Yeah, no, I love the old Blue Boys, mate, and every opportunity I can get, I probably never look.
Fantastic.
How are you going to go this afternoon, mate? You get this afternoon tomorrow, aren't you?
Tomorrow,
East
yes.
elimination.
Yeah.
That's right, because I must congratulate East Geelong for knocking North Geelong out of the finals. I really do mean that. Bottom of my heart, I really do. No, I mean, I'm really happy about that for you. And you reckon it'll go all right?
Look, we've had an up and down year. Like we're not startling, but we knew if we stick to the tip of the coach's game plan, we were pretty confident we'd be in the mix somewhere along the line. And look, we struggled, but Saturday we turned the corner a fair bit, and we're looking forward to the contest on Sunday.
Yeah, and apparently the facilities out at St Albans this year are absolutely sensational. So we're looking forward to a fantastic finals campaign out there.
It should be brilliant. It should be brilliant, like normal.
If you win Sunday, can you win the flag?
Tall order. We'll take Sunday, and that's what we're looking at the most. We're not that good enough, I don't think, at the moment to look any further. So we'll look at Sunday.
Fair enough, yeah.
And we're quite confident.
And Werribee be in the same boat too, you would think.
Well, they've got nothing to lose either. Look, it's cutthroat. Come Sunday night, one of us is going to have a mad Monday.
Yeah.
As simple as that.
Well, Scruncher, thanks for coming on the show, mate, and really appreciate having you on. And I know we have a few gags with you, mate, but people like you is what local footy's all about. You're an icon to the game, an icon to the league, and I look forward to your company a couple of times a year when we get together and have a blow-by-blow stoush, and certainly look forward to seeing you on the Whitley vote count on Monday night. I know you'll be there. Eric's not invited, but it'll be fantastic seeing you there, mate. And all the best to the East Geelong Eagles for the season, mate.
Appreciate that, Dick, and I will see you on Sunday and Monday.
Good on you, mate. Keith Jameson, the icon of the East Geelong Eagles Footy Club. We're going to take a break and come back, and the boys will be back on the panel to talk about all the action on this afternoon and tomorrow. Take after this.
We are the Raiders from all around Geelong. I'm here to tell you how football is strong.
And welcome back. Yes, it is finals time, and it's on this afternoon, and it's out at the St Albans Reserve, the newly revamped St Albans Reserve, the magnificent club rooms there. It's going to be a magnificent final series indeed. It's qualifying final day this afternoon. Reserves kicks off at about 12 o'clock, Bannockburn and East Geelong. And then the big one on 94.7, the Pulse, your home of country football, is the Tommy Tigers taking on the Bannockburn Tigers. And I've done the gag all year, Eric. For one thing is for sure, the Tigers will probably win on the day.
Yes, no doubt about that. No doubt about that. And this will be a very good game, Dick, because they played twice for the season, one win apiece, and Thompson certainly going to miss Bowles, Voss and Forbes, who are unlikely to play again for the rest of the year. But Grubby, in round 17, they played very, very poorly at Bannockburn. They didn't have Luke Forbes and Warland playing, but you wouldn't think two players could make that big a difference, although they must have played very, very well at Inverleigh last week.
Yeah, look, I have to disagree with you. I think two players of that calibre can make a big difference. I really do. And they were never going to lose second spot at that particular stage, and they weren't going to get top spot either. So I just don't think their whole attitude was right. But I tell you, Bannockburn have absolutely killed them in the second half. I didn't think they were anywhere near good enough to beat the top two. All of a sudden now, with these three big blokes out, Grigg needs a spell. And he needs someone to come in. I don't know who they've got to do that, but that, along with how they went in 2 weeks ago, it's going to be a pretty close game, I think.
I've done a bit of a grubby over the last couple of days. I've done some research and I actually brought my notes.
Okay.
Bannockburn, they've won 9 of the last 10 games. The last loss they had was Belfast Hill. And in that time, they've had very, very limited changes of personnel. Now, when you've got a stable side, obviously you can play pretty consistent footy, and that's what they've done.
Well, they have done that, and who knows? They may be a little bit leg weary after a pretty hard game out at the Keith Barclay Mud Eat last week.
Oh,
What?
easy.
Well, have a look at it on the screen. It's a
Well, you should have seen the duck pond.
It's an absolute disgrace. Look at it.
Well, duck pond on Saturday morning was underwater. They could have held a regatta on it.
Well, they should have called that game off and give the points to North Geelong. He might have got in there.
Yeah, good on you.
But all seriousness aside, fair dinkum, obviously it was pretty muddy. And
It was muddy everywhere, though.
Yeah, but it takes a toll on their legs, and and it was a pretty tight.
Would have taken a toll on your legs.
What was that?
Oh, you haven't got much.
Well, I would have had to wear me gumboots if I was playing on that. Well, hang on, there's a bit of a green patch. Look, gee.
Just get on with it.
But,
Round 17, Grubby, we saw that game and Thompson just couldn't get any easy ball. The tackling, the ferocious attack on the player with the footy by the Bannockburn side, and their one-on-one defence, it just took Thompson apart. Now, obviously they've got to restructure and rechange their thinking, Thompson. I think they probably can. The essence might be who plays St Albans ground better.
yeah, you're right. And I think they can rethink, but I'm not quite sure if they can restructure with those three blokes out of the side. As we keep saying, they're big blokes. But Forbes coming into the side, Warland coming into the side, there's something on the line this time for Thompson, and there wasn't last time. I just think they'll play a lot better, and I just don't want to go on one game that we saw. I want to go on the first 16 or 17 rounds when they were undefeated for 16. It just tells me that they've got a little bit more class, and I think they'll beat Bannockburn.
Well, we've seen them several times, and their class shone out, didn't it, in
Yep.
those first 16 games. And I reckon, Dick, it's going to be a real tight one this afternoon, but the great part is they've got a double chance. They continue, both of them.
They do, yeah. The qualifying final's got that thing about it that always not lost at 5 o'clock if things go terribly wrong. Well, tomorrow it's the elimination final. I must admit, I love elimination finals because it is cutthroat footy that it's so desperate that one side will definitely be going home at 5 o'clock. And of course, it's Grubby's, Werribee Central's Ducks and they take on the East Geelong Eagles, who rightfully regained their spot in the final 5 with a resounding win over Cryer last week. North Geelong leaving their run all too late. I'll start with you, Grubby. You'd be pretty confident, I guess, about your Werribee boys, and the good thing is that that man that I absolutely reckon's a great footballer, Rosenberg, seems to be back on track again.
Well, he is. He's probably playing out of the goal square, but although he looked a lot fitter, I watched him at training last night, he looked okay. But no, look, I'll disagree with you. I'm not confident going into this one because, as I said to Keith Jameson before, I think East Geelong beat Werribee Centrals by 20 goals at the Duck Pond and then followed it up with a 3 or 4 goal win only about 5 or 6 weeks ago. So they do have the wood on Werribee Centrals a little bit, and I just think if they can play their best football, then they might be very, very hard to beat. But on the other hand, Werribee Centrals are finally starting to get the side they want on the park. They've had injuries pretty much all year, and they're just sort of starting, they've probably still got a few out there, just starting to get the side they want out there. So this could be a cliffhanger. This could be the match of the finals, actually.
Grubby, after round 2, that 20-goal defeat you just spoke of, not one of us probably gave Werribee a chance of playing finals. So great credit to them that they've got this far. We look at the game tomorrow, I guess you've got to look at who's going to be suited to St Albans. I looked at that Werribee side. Leach, I've never seen him play a bad game at St Albans. He's a running player, a long-kicking player. Bray plays very well there. Lovell, if he's fit and comes into that side, he's a very good player. They play well at St Albans, and it'll be interesting to see whether they can stand up. Comment on that before what say about East Geelong.
Well, yeah, look, that's fair enough too. And my only worry there is that the blokes that you mentioned are all over 30. Yeah. So I think you'll find they'll play a fantastic first half. So a lot of the trick here is to play 4 quarters in a finals football, and it's a big ground. They've got older legs. We saw that in the finals last year where Inverleigh overran them. So they've got to make sure if they do play that well, they've got to be fair way in front at half time, I reckon.
East Geelong, I like the look of their side. O'Toole, Murphy, Primke, Closter, Ryan, Coy, Chalice, Robertson. All running players, all play well at St Albans. I like the look of Mawson back or forward. Verver's bit of pace on the big ground, Lachlan in defence. I guess if I do a very strict analysis, I'd have to go for East Geelong.
Yeah, you got to be pretty close there. Chalice has got a lot of run. I don't know who's going to run with him. Ricky O'Toole is going to get a lot of possessions. The trick with Ricky is you've got to force him down back and make sure you get him across half back line, because if he gets him forward of the centre, you're in big trouble. He'll either goal or hit someone on the chest. The bloke that you haven't mentioned, I've watched a few times this year, is Lachlan. I think he's been fantastic down back. Got probably a couple of blokes to pick up. I don't know who he will pick up, but he's been fantastic the games I've seen. I'm going to go with the heart this time, and we'll see how we go. I'll go for Werribee with the heart.
All right, just quickly, players who I don't think have seen St Albans: Montebruno, Weatherly, Morgan, Clonan and Richmond. They've got to get established on the ground, and I don't know whether they can do that quickly enough. I'm going to go for East.
Okay, probably Weatherly played last year, but he's one of them that did. But yeah, the idea is no matter where you play, get the footy, get it down there and kick some goals.
Fair enough. Well, thanks, guys. Have a great afternoon. Now, Eric, you're on leave again. You're off to Cardinia Park, Simmons Stadium, see those mighty Cats and look after the past players. So we'll see you again next week. We'll let you know how the vote count goes on Monday night, because I understand you haven't been invited.
Does that mean we get that idiot Downey again? Jeez.
So, folks, you enjoy your footy over the weekend at the St Albans Reserve. You can't get down there. Tune in to 94.7, the Pulse, your home of country football, both Saturday and Sunday. Have a great afternoon. Go those Tommy ties, go those Bannockburn ties, go the Ducks and go the Eagles. We'll see you all again next Saturday morning. Bye for now.
We are the Raiders from all